Containment refers to a process where an individual receives, processes, and gives meaning to potentially overwhelming thoughts or feelings, typically with the help of another. Reflect on these questions. What kind of support does the person need? Ask them if they need to vent, brainstorm, or have advice. How can you be present without being judgmental? What are you feeling in your body? And what happens when you notice that sensation? Everybody wants to be acknowledged, accepted, and loved. Through practice, you can build a relationship based on trusting containment.
Strap in for a roller coaster ride where curiosity, humor, laughter, and the odd case of wisdom is applied to understanding the adventure of life.
Welcome to the Rawle and Gene Show, the power of coaching, guided by two knuckleheads who invite you to sit in the front car with them on this ride.
Trust us, it's not as serious as it sounds.
And high fives are included. Welcome, everybody, to the Rawle and Gene Show. I guess we don't need to say welcome, everybody, to the show. We just did the intro. These are the things that we're learning. So bear with us.
Well, we're Canadians, so, we're just ultra
We're very apologetic.
very apologetic and very welcoming. We will welcome you at the gate, and then when you get into the house, we will welcome you again. And then when you sit at the table,
then we'll say thank you, and then we'll welcome you one more time. Then we'll ask you a whole bunch of questions because we don't want to assume things.
Before you know it, it's time to go home.
Yeah, anyway, that's an hour of us just saying thank you. Welcome to the Rawle and Gene Show. Make sure to follow us on the podcast, and you can hear us every Wednesday drop a new episode like clockwork. The podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts. Hit that follow, like, subscribe. I think even on Spotify now you can give us reviews. So that helps. That helps other people find the show too. Definitely check it out. What's showing up for you this week? We're obviously our topic is this idea of containment, being with people to help them process stuff. What's here for you?
Well, it's funny because we're talking about, I guess, emotions and triggers and being present and all that wonderful spirituals. I almost didn't want to come today because I had a legal matter I'm dealing with my stepfather. Complete BS bullshit. I can say that because this is not a kid-friendly show.
And it's our show, so.
And it's our show. And so, I'm sitting there and just watching the waste of time and money into the bureaucracy of our legal system. It's just such a joke. You're sitting there, not one piece got dealt with. Everything just keeps getting adjourned, pushed and pushed. And so anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm like thinking, oh my God, okay. Usually this takes a couple of hours because I'm still waiting for some documents. And trust me, folks, there's really nothing serious. My stepfather is just he's going to leave this earth very soon the same way. He's just a bastard. And he always looks for ways to mess with my life. And so anyway, looks like things are just going to be thrown out because there isn't a crown assigned to this case. So I'm sitting there and I'm starting to feel like I'm getting triggered. You guys are wasting my time. And they always like to take the lawyers first and all this stuff. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. My time is not as valuable. And then I checked myself. I go, what are you getting triggered about? Is there something inside of you that you haven't dealt with that you're feeling this way? Or you're just being triggered in the moment? I realized I was just being triggered in the moment because I felt that my time wasn't as valuable. This is kind of like going to the doctor or you go to the hospital. When I do that, I expect they're not going to take you right away. And especially if you're in an emergency, the emergency will come up and they'll deal with that. But this isn't that. So why is my time not as valuable? But I just realized anyway, things worked out and it looks like it'll work out in my favor, which it should because I've done nothing wrong. And I got off and I was like, I'm going to just buzz Gene and say, I'm not coming to that. Just cancel it. And as soon as I had that thought, I go, why are you going to do that? And right there in that moment, I checked myself, really triggered or you just want to hold on to that moment that is now past? And I go, I don't want to hold on to that. I actually learned a lot. And every time I've gone through this process, I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot. So very quickly, I got my emotions in check.
It sounds like a wonderful example of you held that container space for yourself to ask some questions, to see what support you needed and see how what's actually coming up. And I love your piece, and you've shared this on other shows, is like, what's the truth in this? Why am I being triggered? If I'm
Right.
being triggered, what is behind that? The trigger, the feeling is that insane thing else was occurring. And you peeked over that and you put it into practice and being able to still come back and go, here's the support. I need to let this go or integrate it and then actually show up to the show today.
Yeah. I gave myself a big hug. I go, okay, you could. I had a choice right there in the moment. I made the choice. I go, it's really not that big a deal. There's nothing inside from historical stuff. I was just angry in the moment. I'm good with my anger. There's nothing wrong with demonstrating your anger, even if it's to yourself.
Mm,
But I demonstrated it in a way where I didn't think it was harmful. I didn't feel like I had no control over myself, my body, my breathing. I was just angry and I was good with it.
mm,
And because I was good with it and I was willing to look into it, boom, I was
that's
like,
all.
I'm good. Then I went outside, looked around, and it's beautiful sunny day, and I was watching the birds playing, just watching. And then I said, okay, came inside and sat here waiting for Gene. Didn't realize I was sitting in the wrong place, but then I'm good to go. So it was actually quite fitting to what we're talking about today. So, and this is why, one of the reasons I like using my own life experiences because I think it brings more credibility to what you're saying. I'm not looking to puff myself up or go, or look at me. My thing is like I used to always tell my students, if one person can do it and it's something that you think is valuable and worthwhile, then you can do it as well. It's not just for one person, it's for all of us. So that's why I like to share it. I really have nothing to hide it what I care about. So yeah. Yeah, it was a valuable experience. I really and then you and I had a really good laugh before we came on. So yeah, it was
So
cool.
we were harassing each other quite viciously.
But
Both
we're
of us.
actually poking fun of what we do. But it
Both
was
of us coming in going, oh, I made a commitment to something months ago, and where I was, raw point through some other questioning point. We landed at a good question going, hey, was what you committed to, were you a different person with a different set of viewpoints when you said yes to this thing? And now that you're doing it, you're in a different space. And it was like, yes to that. And it's like, okay, now what do I do
mm,
with this? Right. And how am I going to honor? I think there's like a component of like honoring the commitment, but like making it a better yes for myself going forward. And that's just a space to really explore and do a little bit. Yeah.
and I think for you, you may be a different person now from when you committed to this, but also at times it may seem repetitive, it may seem like a waste of time. Why am I doing this? Blah, blah, blah. But if you can step out of that and look at it and go, you know what? I am a different person. So I am going to actually see and feel whatever training you're going through in a
Yeah.
different way that might highlight something that you haven't even thought of. So,
And that was
uh,
kinda like where I ended our day 1 of this training was going, "Hey, like, yes, I've done training, done a lot of training. I am, you know, got the certifications, put this time in, and this too will serve." And so let it serve versus, like, going I kinda feel like I'm in day 1 of training all over again, be like, "No, I'm a more experienced person looking at these things. What can I find that I may have missed the first time?" It's like going what? Oh, here's a metaphor. It's like going back and watching a great movie. You pick up a whole bunch of things the second time, the third time through that you didn't the first time, right? Watching a movie I will watch if it's always on is The Replacements with Keanu Reeves. I just love it. I
so do
love that
I.
movie.
I love
And I haven't seen it in years, but I probably have watched that like 10, 15 times. I always find a new laugh and something interesting in that movie. And you wouldn't get those nuances and all these different perspectives if you didn't go back to that place and go, okay, do I still enjoy this? Am I still learning? What is important about learning? And as Raw and I were Raw asked, he's like, why are you doing this? Well, actually, learning is important to me. It's part of my operating system for the next few years. I always want to have some piece that I'm doing active learning on, pushing out of my comfort zone.
Mhm.
What I thought was going to be my comfort zone with this and what is and how the uncomfortableness of this training is going and sitting and going, this is actually a great movie. I'm going to rewatch this. And how am I going to be active and bring my fullness to it in a much different way than I did before? And for me, that was like an opportunity just to hold that space without feeling judgmental, but we could still like ask a judging question about the intentions and realign them. And I think that's something we've talked about lots is like the difference
Yeah.
between judging and judgmental.
So
It's it's
the
it's
2
a
different
really important different space. And if we're able to come to that space and say, hey, we do what we do to provide judgment towards this because it helps influence how we want to get right with it,
Mhm.
then we can go around with it. You add that AL to it, it's a whole different experience because now all of a sudden you're looking at a right versus wrong, a good versus bad versus going, what do I resonate the most with here? I'm gonna say I'm saying yes to something, and does it totally still align? And it's more of an empowering place than a where find judgmentalness is really about stripping power away and adding things about holding this space that we call containment around difficult things that you're experiencing really is empowering.
It is, and you talk about containment, it's like, trigger. I was watching a video earlier, was responding to a video that they saw of a young woman. Someone paid her a compliment on her hair. She had beautiful hair. And she basically kind of took a strip off of the person that paid her the compliment. She goes, I hear that all the time. And that's kind of like microaggression. And the person goes, I was just paying you a compliment. And I was just listening to that and watching. I found it very fascinating that we have people that want to step out in society and do not want to interact with life, or if life interacts with them, it has to be a certain way. And I'm like, that's a dangerous thing because I accept that I will be triggered. Getting triggered is not the problem. It's how you respond or react to it and how you contain it and how you judge it versus being
Mhm.
judgmental with it. I was triggered earlier and I chose not to go down that slippery slope of being judgmental with myself because when I do that, then I really can't contain it. And I want to contain it, not to sweep it under the rug. I want to contain it so I could learn from it in the moment, in that moment, because that to me is the moment of that's the gap of saying, am I going to respond or react? I'm going to take that time to contain it, to understand. Right? Not once in that experience I talked about earlier did I beat myself up for feeling the way I did. And it's the same thing if someone said something to me that triggers me, I will acknowledge being triggered, but I always have the opportunity to contain it, to take that moment of time to go, what do you really want from this experience? Why is this showing it? Do you want to be judgmental and just be reactionary? Or do you want to actually contain it so you can learn from it and go, what is it that's really triggering? And I always say, is there truth in what is being presented to you? And if there's truth, why are you getting truth? If there is no truth, why are you getting truth?
Fa and it's a a distinction that I think is important around because we're using this word containment.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't mean to, like, smother it out or be like, "Oh, the containment itself isn't like a response to something bad or ugly." The
Hmm.
containment it's actually ownership. If you're doing it on your own, there's an ownership to going, "Hey, what is actually happening within me?" Asking, these questions, like Rawle says, "Is there truth to this?" "Oh, okay, well, what's happening? Is there no truth to this?" So what's happening? How do I wanna be? How's this serving me? And is this actually telling me something that's important that I may not be aware of?
Yeah.
What part of this am I resisting? What part of this have I been ignoring? I think these are all like self-containment questions. The flip side of this is when you provide containment for somebody else. And I think that's a lot of like what we do as coaches, obviously therapists and psychotherapists and people in the professional in our line of services provide this as
Yeah.
a spot to hold a non-judgmental space to explore is really about helping somebody receive, process, and give meaning to potentially like overwhelming thoughts or feelings.
And
So
that's the
how do
whole
you
thing
do that?
about coaching. That's the whole thing about coaching
Yeah.
or counseling or whatever you want to call it. It's like you say containment. It's funny when you were, I don't know if you noticed when you were kind of paraphrasing what I had said or did. I'd actually, I was jokingly, but I was kind of trying to give myself a hug. Don't
Yeah.
sit around. But containment, I was hugging myself. I was hugging myself to go, okay, remember, as a reminder to not be judgmental of yourself. It's a valuable experience. Why were you getting triggered? Oh, you act like somehow the judge and the Lord, the crown, and whoever else was in this room got up that morning to piss me off. No, not at all.
They had
And
this grand plan, be like, Raul James is gonna be on the
well,
call
yeah,
today.
exactly. So
Have
we're
you
just gonna
flip to this book, be like, let's fuck with this guy.
let's look with him.
Right? Like
Let's keep pushing him back. It'll piss him off. No, that wasn't the case at all. Everyone in there was just doing the best that they could, and that they have a process they follow. And so at the end of the day, it worked out. But yeah, so to me, that was me containing myself. It's like almost
mm,
giving myself a hug. And it's no different than when we're coaching people. We give them spiritual hugs, that unseen hug, but how we show up when they're telling us these things that trigger, right? And how we encourage them to walk through it, to tell their story, for them to be able, can you step out of the emotions of it to understand why you're feeling the way you do? Because the emotions, when the event happens and there comes this feeling that you ruminate and carry on. I mean, I could have had that stuff living in my head rent free.
I was
And
gonna say rent free in this market?
sure enough, I should charge myself for the actually, that's a very good strategy. Charge yourself. If you're gonna hold thoughts that really don't serve you or feelings and emotions, you should charge rent because that's a good point. In this market, you can make a killing off yourself.
That is valuable real estate that you're just letting go to squatters.
But all kidding aside, is very true. Because
Yeah.
if you actually had to pay for the space in here, would you be holding these things that you deem to be dangerous or bad for you? Probably not if you had to pay for it. So, but for me, ultimately, is that self-care, hugging yourself, containing not to suppress, but containing to say, oh, okay, you just came through something that triggered you. Do you understand beyond the emotions? Now, the feelings behind it. What are you feeling? Why is there truth in that feeling? Or you just feeling that way because of conditioning or what you think you should do, as opposed to, I understand what may have happened in the past, but right here in this moment, is that relevant? Is there still truth in? And I think that's just key. So a lot of times I always tell people, don't beat yourself up for getting triggered. It's how you handle getting. It's like falling down. You're going to fall down. This is why I find it interesting. People want to now live this life and feel that they'll never be triggered. I want to meet someone without baggage. I go, well, good luck with that one. Good luck with
They're yeah, they're only a few days old. That's the
that.
reality.
Wow.
We all
Maybe,
yeah, maybe, right?
maybe
Like, we all have those things,
we do.
and embracing that as, like, that's a commonality we all have.
Mhm.
We all have biases. We all have
Yes, we
experiences
do.
that lead us to having a commonality of an emotional experience, like a flood of chemicals go through our body when we feel anger, when we feel sadness, when we feel happy, like, those are also another commonality. How we put meaning to it is the individual's experience. Like, I get to say what happiness means to me. Raw gets to say what happiness means to him, and everybody that's listening gets to say what happiness means to them as well. The same thing with mad, sad, frustration, joy. These are all there's commonality, and then there's the personalization of it that we get to have. And when I think about containment, I saw a clip from a on Instagram talking about, kids and men withdrawing and what how do you re-engage? It's just like, how about we just meet that person where they're at and stop making it about us? If we are going to be in a position in our profession, like that's part of what we practice to do is to be in this non-judgmental space. But we also have relationships that are not that are outside of our work life, be it our spouse, be it our friends, be it our children, be it our coworkers. Is like you have an opportunity to say, "Hey, what kind of support do you need right now?" Because maybe they just need to vent. Maybe their process is
Mhm.
to go cool off for a little bit and, like, feel it so they can are able to put words to it.
Mhm.
Maybe they need to, get some advice. Maybe they need to cry. Whatever it is, none of that is about you.
Or
And
maybe
if
they
you
need
choose
nothing
nothing,
other than what they're going through. That's it.
right? And it's like, if you're going to provide somebody this opportunity of saying, "I'm gonna be present for you," cool. Well, then be aware of, like, what they're actually asking for and not making it about you. Stop being selfish. That's not that time to be selfish. Is like when somebody's experiencing something or you're quite clear that they're asking for help or they're having a high peak emotional experience, is like, this isn't about the time to make it about you. Now, I know that is incredibly hard and it's easy to sit back and, quarterback this from a chair, but that's the goal of
Well,
containment.
it's not so much, it is about you because you're there with them. The key is if you're there for them, ask them a question. What do you need? And they may say, I need this. They may not know what they need. They may say, like I've done it with you, I really need nothing from you, right? I just need to be with this. And that's okay. But
Mhm.
too many times, and I'm guilty of it, it's human nature. We want to help people that we care about. We want to help our fellow human beings. So instead of asking the question, a lot of times we jump to wanting to solve things. And sometimes wanting to solve things right away can be problematic because they don't want solutions. They want to maybe sit in it and just be with it for a second and be okay with that.
Yeah.
So it's important to just ask that basic question. What do you need from me right now? And accept whatever it is that they say. I think a lot of times when you're talking about emotions, we always like to say we're emotional people, we're emotional beings, but yet then we try to run away from emotions. So to me, what emotions are you then? Is it just the good emotions? What emotions are you good with? Because it seems like we're in a time now we're only good with awareness and admiration and appreciation and love and all this stuff. But when it comes to anxiety and awkwardness and weirdness and all these other emotions, we're not good with that. And one of the key questions I used to ask when I used to deliver I Am Enough workshop, I used to ask people, are you worthy of the so-called negative feelings and emotions that show up in your life? Are you worthy of the negative so-called harsh experiences? Because we only look at worthy from a supposedly positive spin. Are you not worthy? Like today, just I was worthy of that experience. And because I knew I was worthy of it, I quickly was able to go, oh, if I go down that slippery slope, I'm denying myself the opportunity to actually learn from it and not just learn from it, to learn more about myself and to see
Yeah.
what am I holding on to, if I'm holding on to anything. But I can only identify that if I am staying grounded and balanced and true to myself and not giving into the fear of it. To me, it's all about balance and not fearing emotions and feelings, but understanding. Understand the emotions is a unconscious reaction to what's going on. The feelings then comes from that. So do you understand your feelings? Do you understand why you're feeling this way? Are you feeling that way because that's how you really feel? Or are you feeling that way because of default, historical stuff that you're still carrying, whatever it is? So that's why I think it's important to really stop and look. And even if you don't do any of that, that's okay as well. That's okay as well because it's all about learning. It's all about learning and growing. When we talk about empowerment and awareness, those things only come from going through all of the experiences, not just some of them. So
Yeah, it's like these raw I couldn't agree with you more, as typical, is when you're going through all this, it's like when you're processing the good, bad, beautiful, and ugly of the emotional spectrum of your experiences, of your thoughts, is like, are you open to new perspectives? Are you open to saying, "Hey, when this thing shows up in my life, I'm getting this initial reaction.
Mhm.
I'm worthy of saying I'm ready for a new reaction. I'm ready for a new meaning to this." And to get to that new meaning is like you actually have to lean through that emotional experience. Is like, what's the fastest way through hell? Through it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It,
Not running
it
away from it.
not
Exactly.
running away from it. There's the what is this? Oh, there's what happens when a storm comes onto the prairies. Buffalo will actually turn, face it, and walk through the storm because they'll get through it quicker.
Yeah.
And that's just their instinctual action. Cows will turn tail and run, and the storm just chases them the entire time. So, are you going to be a cow or a buffalo? Like,
Yep. I've never
which
heard
side?
that. Hmm.
So,
Okay.
which side of it do you want to be on?
Yeah.
If you want to be on the other side of the storm, and you say, "Hey, I'm ready to find this meaning and get through this storm as quickly as possible," then you kind of have to put your head down and go through it.
Yeah. Well, I tell my clients now, I go, you have a choice. You can run away from your fears or you can run towards them. I always invite them, run towards your fears. You can't solve anything if you're running away from it, right? You can't face anything if you're running away from it. And particularly if you want to overcome things, you have to face it. And I don't know any other way. This is why I would say to people, why do we need these harsh experiences? I go, we need them because we need the contrast so we understand good and bad and all these things. But also your wisdom, that's how wisdom comes about, or the things that you ask for. A lot of people go, "Oh, please give me the patience." Well, patience doesn't show up like a bubble gum wrapped and you unwrap it and you just chew it and you swallow it. Oh, I got patience all of a sudden. Patience will show up you driving your car in the fast lane and you find yourself behind another car that's going well below the speed limit. And it's probably an elderly couple driving like this. And you're flashing your lights and they can't see you. They're just oblivious because they're just driving. And you're getting more frustrated and you're flashing like that. And then what do? Y'all gear off into the center lane and come up to them and you look at them and you're like, before you drive off. But before that, you just ask the universe for patience. So maybe instead of doing all of that, sit behind them and enjoy the ride, take in the scenery.
Yeah, and
Or,
practice sitting in that discomfort
yeah,
is practicing. It's an opportunity to practice what you're asking for.
yeah,
And
it's,
it's always interesting when you're like, "Hey, I'm looking for success, I'm looking for patience, I'm looking for control of my anger, fill in the blank." All of a sudden, more of those things start to show up, and
yeah,
you're actually just being aware of them because you've asked this incredible machine up here in our between our ears to say, "Hey, I need more practice with this." And it's like, "Oh, cool. It's everywhere. Let me pull a few examples up for you."
yeah.
And it's gonna say, "Hey, do you wanna practice this?" And it's that's in those moments, that's your choice to start that reprogramming of your subconscious to say, "Yes, I'm ready to practice this. I
And
don't
it's,
like it. It's uncomfortable. I'm not good at it because I'm a learner. I'm a beginner with this, and you shouldn't be good with it when you start something. But I'm going to keep having more at bats. I'm going to keep practicing this. I'm going to please show me some more opportunities to practice this patience. I think I was like 2% better at patience. I didn't
and it
flip the old
will,
cup this time. High five."
and it will show up repeatedly.
Yeah.
That's one of the kind of, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. But anyway, seem to think, or we like to think once we've gotten something, oh, I'll never have to do this again. Nonsense. Nonsense. That means you're not really paying attention to your life, or you don't want to accept the way things are. We have to really do a show on visions and how we see the world, because worldviews have a lot to do with it. There's many people that look at life the way they would like it to be, which hinders how it actually is.
And yes, the wonderful case of it is what it is.
It is what it is. and you will be repeatedly tested on these things, even when you say you've gotten it, because it's life. Life is repetitive. It's like breathing. Thank God you like breathing if you like living, because breathing is for a repetitive
Yeah.
exercise and life is repetitive. You're going to repeat these things. They don't just happen once. They will come in different forms or they may look differently, but it's the same exercise of patience or whatever. It's like, but today, again, do you really want to take this personally? You really think they got up this morning to piss you off? No, I already know that. But just because I know that and I've done it before doesn't mean I won't have to go through it again or I won't get triggered. That's why I said the key is not getting triggered, is not beating yourself up by getting triggered. You're going to get triggered. And I think this is some of the harm we're getting in our society. Is that we want to get rid of triggers. Good luck with that. The mere
Yeah.
fact we live together, we're going to trigger each other.
Oh, 100%. And where the power in this is you're going, like Rawl says, you're going to have that trigger. No amount of work is ever going to truly pull that out. That it's
Oh,
part of your wholeness and that is okay. It's like, how long am I going to stay in that state of being triggered? How long am I going to be able to shrink the amount of time that I can contain and process and explore what's happening within me? And also, can I also extend when it's appropriate, the time from that reaction, that triggering to a response that I want to give from my fullness,
yeah.
right? Those are like actually two concepts that are really coming out as like that one experience has kind of two prongs is like, what am I learning from this? And what is the world seeing as a response from me to this? And if I choose to say, hey, I can feel this, I'm okay with feeling this because it is what it is, but I'm also going to choose not to respond from that place. So, how much of a gap do I need to give it?
And that is to me the key. Do not be afraid to feel it. Embrace it all, all of it, because it's how you're going to understand and learn. Like I said, we want the good experiences. And somewhere along the line, we've been convinced we're only here to have good experiences. If you don't ever want to get triggered again, don't go outside into the world. But guess what? Even if you stay inside by yourself, you'll get triggered.
Yeah.
So it's part of life. And this nonsense we're trying to do today about safe space and triggers, the safe space is in you. When you're good, I'm not looking to trigger anyone, but I also accept there are things that I will say, even if I say it with my best intention, someone may not hear it that way and they may get hurt. I accept that.
Yeah.
I accept that because
That comes back down to ownership.
if I don't, then I will limit what I say or I probably will not speak and I refuse to do. I accept that someone else may offend me with their speech, with their thoughts. Okay? I still have a choice. I could react or I could respond.
Mhm.
But either one, I am still a feeling emotional being in both of them. But who's in charge? Doesn't matter what's going on. If you say you are in charge of you, then be in charge of you. But don't say you're in charge of you and then point fingers at others when you're the one that still has the choice, the opportunity to either respond or react. That's true self empowerment.
Very much. Let's add a little practicality to this. We're going to experience this, we're going to experience it within ourselves, and we're going to be with people we care about that we experience. So, what's Rawls' tip of being in that non-judgmental place and opening that space for somebody that you care about to be able to be like, I can be the good, bad, beautiful, and ugly right now in this moment with you?
Mhm.
Yes, please.
Like I said, I just ask, what do you need, if anything?
Do you ever find
Simple.
that that word can be when they're in that space,
Mhm.
that what do you need can also feel like a bit of a weight on that person?
It can, and I'm glad you brought that up because I think you need to also understand with your audience. And well, I've done it with you. When I'm going through something, you're like me, you want to help, you want to fix, you want to
Yeah.
heal. And you'll say, well, what do you need? I go, I don't need anything right now. I just need to be. I'll tell you right back, I don't need what you're, right? So I think it's important uh, uh, to have a big arsenal and not just use that word need, because to your point, sometimes that word can trigger others. A lot of times I'll just go, you know what? I'm here if needed.
Mm,
Instead of asking you, what do you need? I'll just go, I am here if needed. And they'll go, okay, thank you. And I will reiterate. I go, no, seriously, if you really want to talk or you want to vent, one of the, one of the best things you can do, particularly when you're dealing with your lover or your significant other, whatever, and they're going through a moment of crisis, when they come to you, ask them, are you looking to vent or you're looking for my input, and see what they say. And if they're looking to vent, shut up, turn up the hearing aid, open up the heart, and engage with them and let them vent. And if they say, I'm seeking your counsel, open it up, open up the heart, engage, and ask exactly what it is that you want from me in this moment. But to me, the key is asking simple, clarifying questions as opposed to assuming you know what the person wants and needs
yeah.
in the moment. This is why I ask lots of questions, and sometimes that could be triggering as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's being aware of who you're engaging with,
who you're engaging,
and being, and this is where I say, like, don't make this about you,
yeah,
is like,
take it
is
personally.
when they're like, "I don't know," be like, "Okay, cool. I'll be here with you in this moment." However that presents itself or whatever that needs. Maybe you need a little bit of time away. Cool. I'm not gonna take that personally. Or, I'm not gonna let that shade into this moment, because if we're gonna create this space for you to experience, to process, and to maybe eventually lean through and find meaning, I don't wanna taint that water, but I want you to be in it. I don't want you necessarily, my hope for you would be to get through this and not run from it. And but maybe you need to take a little jog away for a moment to go sit, collect, and then come be in it. And that's okay too. And being aware of how we shade those, and how, like myself, I used to run. I used to avoid conflict like the plague. But now I like it. I it's like a cold shower. I choose to step into it. But
I
others
still like to
others
avoid
don't want
conflict.
to,
I
right?
still like to avoid it. I just choose not to avoid it.
Well, I know the consequences of the
Yeah,
avoiding,
yeah.
right? And now once I've gotten through that place, I know that usually 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, it is not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be by stepping into it and letting the energy go. It's the same thing as being present and aware of what's happening within our body. It's like we're all talked about at the start of it, is like he was aware that he was feeling angry and just noticed it
Excuse me.
without judgmental, and just noticed it, and then watched it change and watched what was really happening underneath, and kinda had the laugh going, "They're not actually trying to piss me off. It's just this system is a little bit on the broken side, and I'm going to experience
But
this."
more importantly, than the system being on the broken side, it was my judgment of what was happening.
Yeah,
And just because that's what I deemed it to be doesn't mean that's what it actually was.
yeah.
So it's like making an assumption and then making that assumption truth,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
From my perspective, from my worldview, it looks like there's too much bureaucracy in the system and blah, blah, blah. But then again, that's just from my judgment. And this is the thing. We tend to react to each other based on what we deem that experience to be from our judgment. And in the moment, if you're truly in the moment and you stop and go, "Hmm, Let's examine that judgment. Did they get up this morning to really piss me off? No, they did not at all. But I also didn't beat myself up for holding that thought.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. When we have these moments that we deem to be low or low vibing or not the right thing, then we beat ourselves up. I don't do that. I just embrace all of the experience. If that's what I chose to do in that moment, I'm not going to beat myself up because beating myself up will limit my ability to learn from it. And beating myself up means that, oh, somehow you think you'll never do that again. Wrong.
Yeah.
So, to me, is can you embrace it all? It's all serving you because you're the one creating it. I chose not to make a molehill into a mountain.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I chose not to do that. Not that I was sweeping anything under the rug. I chose to deal with it and step out of the feeling of it and go, is there truth in it?
Right.
So that to me, that's the biggest coaching tip. The biggest coaching tip is when you are confronted by something that triggers you, ask yourself two basic questions. Is there truth in what is being presented to you? If there is truth, why are you getting triggered? If there is no truth, why are you?
Yeah. Love that, man. Well, for everybody who's watched, thank you so much. Before we let you go, we do have our coaching tip of the week. So this one our is all around this concept we talked about today, containment. Containment refers to a process where an individual receives, processes, and gives meaning to potentially overwhelming thoughts or feelings, typically with the help of another. Reflect on these questions. What kind of support does the person need? Ask them if they need to vent, brainstorm, or have advice. How can you be present without being judgmental? What are you feeling in your body? And what happens when you notice that sensation? Everybody wants to be acknowledged, accepted, and loved. Through practice, you can build a relationship based on trusting containment. When we process, we are open to new perspectives and meanings. For all of you, we hope that you are going out there, putting into practice some of the things that you listen to through us today and through all of our other episodes. Raul, any final parting words?
I would just say the perfection is in the practice. Practice all of it because we're here to experience all of it. And understand we live in a world of contrast, duality. You can't know light without dark. The perceived harsh, bad experiences are just as valuable. That's why I said, are you worthy of them? Don't get me wrong. Some of them are very harsh.
Yeah.
Some of them you will never like at all, but are you still worthy of it? Because there's lessons to it. And when I talk about your vault of wisdom, that's what I'm really talking about. Your vault of wisdom is your past. That's where wisdom lives. Wisdom lives in the past, not in the now, not in the future. So time to
Oh my
rub our
God, it's
hands
exciting.
together and
It's a
give
little
everyone a big
exciting.
hug and contain and practice what we preach and
Oh, that
just
last
laugh
part too. So,
and laugh a
get it.
lot as we do it and have fun as we do it because man, especially in
It was
today's crazy world, we need to laugh more. We're not
yeah.
laughing enough. So anyway,
Yeah, if we're not having fun, we're not doing it, and we
yeah.
continue to show up because we're having fun leading through this, and for everybody else, we really appreciate that you stuck around, listening to this for the full time. Wherever you find us, if you're watching us live on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe and like button. If you're following along on the podcast, hit the follow, and if they've got a rating and review system on Apple or Spotify, let them know how we're doing because
Oh,
that's gonna help other people find us. All right,
no,
everybody.
man, I'm having fun. So anyway,
Yeah.
I love you
We
guys.
send we send everybody big love and, yeah, we'll talk to you next week. Later. Oh, one last thing. It's the legal language. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals.